Welcome back to the arcade. Today we're going to do part 3 of the 13-inch Wells Gardner K4800 tube swap. And if you watched the first 2 parts, at the end of part 2, you'll see that we had a problem with the flyback transformer. We had a crack in it that I didn't know about. And when we fired it up, it started arcing. So after that, and before I uploaded those videos, I went into a search to try to find a flyback. And nobody makes a flyback for the 13-inch version of the K4800. They make a flyback replacement for the K4900, which is the 19-inch version of this monitor. The chassis are almost identical, but there's a few small changes, mainly a few resistor and capacitor changes. But it looked like to me that the flyback was pretty much the same thing. But it was no way of really telling unless I tried it. So that's what the 2 videos that have already been uploaded before the tube swap videos. So if you haven't seen those, it deals with trying to figure out whether the 13-inch chassis will work with the 19-inch flyback. And of course, it does. At first, we weren't sure, but I found out that I had where the screen voltage hooks up to the neck board here, it had a bad cold solder joint. So we fixed that, and everything was fine. And I was able to kind of tune it up and get it to work. We still have to fine tune it. And I was very lucky that when I did fire it up and it started working, that it was fairly close. The convergence is real close. So we're not going to have to do a whole lot to it. So I got pretty lucky. Usually I'm not that lucky. But I'll go over a few things with you and show you what you can do if you're not as lucky as I am. So first, let's go ahead and fire it up. Let me turn on the test pattern generator. And let's fire up the isolation transformer here and power it up. And I'll show you what kind of a picture we got here. And there it is. It actually looks fairly well. It's a usable picture the way it is right now. Like I say, I didn't have to do a whole lot of adjusting. The yoke, I just slid. This is the original 4800 yoke that came on this monitor. I took the TV yoke off because it wasn't compatible. It had a difference in the resistance. I did use the convergent rings off of the TV tube, this tube, and I had marked it when I took it off, and after I put the 4800 yoke back on, I was able to put the convergent rings back in the exact precise position where it was on the TV, when it was in the television set. And I believe that if you use the convergent rings that go with the tube, they are already adjusted for the gun that's in the tube. So I believe if you do that and get it in the same exact position, you're not going to have to do a whole lot of convergence adjustments. But with that said, because the yoke is different, I believe the yoke is where you have to do the little tweaks, because on the original 4800 tube, we had 2 conveyance strips. Now, what is a conveyance strip? All right, this is a conveyance strip. This is one of the originals that was on the tube, and this is a new one. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I've been told, and I read that right here on the end where this yellow tape is, that is a little magnet. But I've also heard that it is just a little square piece of metal. Well, magnet or a piece of metal will interfere with the magnetic field that is generated by the yoke, which manipulates the beam. Okay, so they don't if they're a magnet, they're a very weak magnet because they don't seem to be sticking to anything. They won't even stick to the metal chassis. But they do have an effect on the picture. So I believe that if your original tube had convergence strips on it, the convergence strips is not because of the tube, it's because of the winding of the yoke. So if you use the original yoke from the tube that was originally in the chassis, then I believe if you put the convergence strips back in the same spot on the new tube, because the yoke is what's generating the field, the tube is probably going to be the same. Now that's just a theory of mine, I don't know, but we're going to test it out because I'm going to put in a picture here of the original tube where you can see it had two convergence strips on it. Now I lost one of the original strips. I thought I saved it around here somewhere, but I can't find it. When I cleaned this up, it was in the chassis. It had already fell off. This one I actually pulled off the chassis. So I know where this one was, and I know where this one was because I got a picture. So I'm going to show you a picture of the original tube with the two convergence strips on it. So we're going to do that here shortly. But first, before that, I'm going to show you what these controls on the neck board do. Now, first let me run through the patterns here on the tube. And let me see if I can get a better picture on my other camera here. Okay, well that's about the best resolution I can get and not have the line in it, and the colors aren't as vivid in person as what the camera is showing. So that's the best I can do, but rest assured the blue is a deeper blue, the magenta is a deeper magenta color, and yeah, so but like I say, that's the best I can do. So that's what it looks like. It's got a little bit of curl up on the top edge. And that's what the convergence looks like. It's actually not bad. Now there's a line around the edges of the right, left, top, and bottom, and I can stretch the top to where I don't have the edge at the top and bottom, and I can do that with the vertical size, which is this pot right here. So if I put it on this pot right here, see, I can stretch the top and bottom and fill up the top and bottom. But I can't make the width any bigger. I tried adjusting the horizontal width coil, and the slug is froze up in it, and I'm afraid that if I try to force it, it'll bust. So later on, I'm going to try changing the width cap and see if we can't get it to expand out a little bit. But we'll do that in a little bit. First thing I want to do is let me show you about the yoke. Okay, I'm going to take the yoke and unscrew the clamp, and I'm going to show you how the yoke affects the picture. Now you want to be very careful because it's high voltage. The neck board has got high voltage on it, and the yoke has high voltage, so you don't want to touch any of the wires where they hook. Try to touch the plastic part of the yoke whenever you're doing adjustments. And as you can see, if I slide it back, you wiggle it around, you can see how it changes. And you can see around the corner. Now let me put it to a color. All right, you see the discoloration in the corners? That's getting the purity off. See that right there? So when you're putting a yoke on, if it's not in the right position, you might have to take these wedges off of the tube and slide it forward until you clear up all the discoloration on all four corners. And in my case, the wedges are right. So I got lucky. But if you're not lucky enough to have the wedges in the right place, you take the wedges off, you slide it, and the yoke will kind of hold itself in position with the clamp. You just don't loosen it up quite all the way, and it'll kind of hold itself in position. And you can slide it to where you get your colors looking good and get it lined up. And then you can tighten it up. Now, like I say, if you don't have the wedges, you get it to where it looks like it looks good, tighten it up a little bit, then you can put your wedges in. But in my case, the wedges were perfect, and this yoke lined right up, and as you can see, it looks good. So, but now let's go to this part right here, the convergence. Now this is what, if you adjust the convergent rings right here, is what moves the color guns, and it'll actually move those lines. Now let me see if I can zoom in. The only problem I'm having is around the top edge. And let me see if I can just zoom into one side here so you can kind of see. You see where the convergence is off, the white line has got thick, and you see the red line down below? Okay, well, first we can see if we can change it by wiggling the yoke a little more. And it doesn't look like that's going to do a whole lot. So we'll just tighten the yoke down right there. Now, here's where the convergent rings come in. I mean convergent strips. Let me take this convergent strip, and I'm going to put it about where the strip was on the original tube. And you see how it affects. So what you do is you just move it around until you get it to where it looks the best, and that's where you want it. And you have to glue it in place. The new one has a little sticky pad on the back of it, so you can pull the sticky pad off. Now the other one also had one over here. And that makes it perfect right there. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. It's probably not going to come out too good on the That looks good right there. So if I was to put them right there, that's the sweet spot. And that should do it. So, I need to heat up my hot glue gun because I'm going to use the original. These are getting hard to find, and they're expensive when you find them. I do have a stash of them, which I bought years ago. Got a little bag full of them. So I have some I can work with, but anytime you're doing a tube swap, save the old ones and use them if you can, because like you say, they're hard to do. So let me go ahead and get my hot glue gun out and fire it up, and we'll go ahead and hot glue the one conveyance strip on, and I'll see if I can put the other one on with the sticky back that's already on it. Okay, let's see if we can get this conveyance strip in the right place here. Let's start with the one on the left. And see if we can't get it. Pretty consistent there. Okay. Let's try it. Peel off the back here. You kind of hold the sticky part off, and you sort of bend it around till you get it to where you think is the best, then stick it down. Okay, that looks pretty good on that side. Now let's try the other side. Now this one just could get some sticky back taping put on there, I guess, but I'm gonna go ahead and use hot glue. I think I can do it. Let's go ahead and see if I can't find a sweet spot for this one. That kind of looks like it right there. Okay. Do the same thing. Just a little dot of hot glue on it. Don't need much. And let's see if we can get it back in that position. I think that's pretty close right there. Close enough. All right, I'm going to put another little dab of hot glue around it. Just kind of help hold it in place. Thing about hot glue, you got to let it cool or it'll move on you. And we'll put a little bit on this other side. Okay. I'm happy with that. So that's basically what you do with conveyance strips. Now, if we had to put some down under the bottom here, yeah, it would have been a little tricky, but it's doable. It can be done. It'd be best to do it with the new strips that has the adhesive, double-sided adhesive foam on it, like this one had. And matter of fact, now that I got that on, I can put a little dab of hot glue on that just to make sure that's not going to come off. Okay. All right. That's what you do to put conveyance strips. And I would be willing to bet, even though I haven't don't have the picture in front of me right now. I'll put the picture back up. I would say that those two strips are kind of almost in the same spot that they were on the original tube. They might not be precisely where they were, but I'd be willing to bet they're kind of close. Okay, so, all right. Now, what are we going to do next? All right, let me back this back up and get it lined back up. Yeah, it's actually looking pretty good. So I think we're good. Now it don't look as good in the camera. I got a lot of lights on in here. If I were to turn the lights out, you would be able to see the darkness in the background. Got the black level set pretty good. Let's go over a couple more of these settings. Right here on the neck board, you have these two variable resistors up here on the top. These two right here. This one is the red drive. This one is the green drive. They don't have a blue drive. I don't know why. Like I say, I'm not a monitor expert. But over here on the side, where you can't see in the camera, but over here on the side, right here, you have three pots. The top one is the red cutoff, the middle is the green cutoff, and the bottom one is the blue cutoff. Well, what do they do? Well, that's how you adjust the color. And the cutoff has to do with the, if you overdrive it, the colors smear, okay? Let me do, let's see, the red cutoff, which is the top one here on the side. If I can get my screwdriver in there, in the slot. All right, now look at the red on the monitor there. Now if I turn it counterclockwise, red starts to get dark. All right, it's cutting the drive down for the red. If I turn it clockwise, the red brightens up. And if I get it too much, it starts to bleed all over the screen. So what you want to do is to get it to where it looks vibrant, but it's not affecting the rest of the screen. Same thing with the green. Turn it down. And so you can overdrive it. And then of course the blue, same thing. That's the bottom pot. And you can overdrive the blue. Then up here, the cutoffs, you got the, the drive, you got the red drive. And then you got the green drive. Now basically what you're doing when you adjust these, you're trying to get a balance so that the colors look the best, okay? So it's kind of a balancing act. You go between these two and the three on the side here, and you want to try to get your whites white and your color's vibrant. So you want to adjust it to where your white is white. That way you got all your colors in balance, because when you got your red, green, and blue balanced, the red, blue, and green overlapping each other makes white. If you have one color stronger than the other color, then that's going to throw your white off. It'll throw it off either to a pinkish hue or a bluish hue or a greenish hue. So it's kind of a, like I say, a balancing act between all of them. And once you get it adjusted, see, that's not quite right there. I really had it perfect, and I kind of messed it up. So it's red, it's a little too red right now. I see red in the background. So let me cut the red drive down. No, it's actually the red cutoff. Okay, I turn it back till I don't see the background red. Okay. Let me turn the red drive down a little bit. Red got to turn down a little bit more, the red cutoff, because that's supposed to be grayscale. Let me tweak the green drive a little bit. This is tedious. Just have to keep tweaking everything. Well, that's not too bad. Let me try to screen adjust, okay? That's the screen control. You want to turn this down till your black level gets down. And now you can set your black level too. Like I say, it's just a matter of tweaking everything till you get everything right. I'm going to turn the colors down. There's a procedure for doing this. But I like to just play around with it till I get it the way I like the looks. All right, now I'm trying to make the white white. And that's not too bad. Okay, just the black level again. Okay, I think I can live with this. But what the real test is, let's hook a game up to it and see what the game looks like. Okay, well, I got a JAMA game hooked up to my JAMA cabinet, and I have the wire harness run over to the monitor here from the JAMA harness, so I'm bypassing the JAMA output to my cabinet and just rerouting the video to this monitor right here. So let's go ahead and fire up the monitor, and let's go ahead and fire up the game. And let's see what the picture looks like. And look what we got. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. All right, let's see what it looks like here. It don't look too bad. It got a little, it needs to be degaussed a little bit, but that's to be expected because we've been working on it and moving it around. There's a little wave in the top there, so let's see if we can adjust that. That should be the, let's try the horizontal hold and see if that'll straighten that out any. Very touchy. All right, let's stretch the picture with the vertical size and see if that'll affect it any. Wait till we get a full screen picture here. Okay. Now let's try the horizontal. All right, let's try the horizontal centering. See if that'll straighten it up a little bit. That is very touchy. Well, some newer games just don't work, real good with these older monitors, so that can be expected. I'm going to use this monitor for a test monitor anyway, so it's plenty good for that. Is there a way to get it a little better? I don't know. I have put a cap kit in it, so it's got a new cap kit. Don't know of anything else. Maybe we could try the horizontal raster shift, which are these 3 pins right here. Don't know where it is right now. Let's see. Yeah, it's on the left. It's not in the center. Let me go ahead and move it to the center and see if that has any effect. Make sure I get it on there.
My toes, my toes.
All right, I think that's on there. Let's turn it on and see if that makes any difference. Not really. Well, that's not too bad. I've seen worse. I've seen better. Don't know why that's so sensitive there. But all in all, it has a pretty good picture, other than that little tearing up on the top edge. If anybody knows what causes that, is it just an artifact of this older monitor not playing right with a newer game? I guess I could find another game to hook up to it and see if we get anything any different. Let me look around and see what I got. Okay, I got another board out of my stash. This is Namco Classics 2, I believe. Let me turn the monitor on. Let's turn the game on. And this is a vertical game, so it's sideways. And it doesn't have that distortion up on the top edge. So that was just not playing good with that game, that's all. Yeah. So yeah, it looks good. The only thing is the width. Like I say, the width coil is frozen, and I don't want to mess with it. It looks a little washed out in the camera here, but in person, it looks good. I guess the camera's just picking it up because it's extra bright. And I got the lights on in here too. But it looks good in person, so I'm happy with it so far. I think the tube swap was a success, and it'll make a great test bench monitor. So I think what I'm going to try is I have a with cap kit here. Got this years ago from Bob Roberts. It's a monitor with cap kit. It has all the different values that you can change the width cap on the board. And I've already looked at it, and it's got the one that I believe I need to change in order to just expand the width a little bit more. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try that and give it a try and see if that makes the picture expand out. Now I don't know, so far every game I put on here needs to be expanded that way, so I'm thinking that this monitor was originally in my Baby Pac-Man. So I'm thinking Baby Pac-Man, it was set up for Baby Pac-Man, and maybe the resolution of the Baby Pac-Man is just set up where it's narrower. You get the same thing with the 4900 to 19-inch. If you take one out of like Moon Patrol, I think is one where it has this funky resolution, and if you put a standard 4900 in a Moon Patrol without the correct width cap, you get the same type of thing. You get the bars on the width. It doesn't fill out the screen. So I think that's, all I need to do is go ahead and change that width cap. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll find out. Okay, well, when I was editing the video, I noticed I was way off in the upper right-hand corner of the picture. So I removed the convergence strip that was on this side right here. The one over here we put on the left side, I believe that's going to be okay. I guess I need glasses. I don't know. My eyes ain't what they used to be. It looked okay from the distance that I'm looking at it through the mirror, but with the close-up of the video, man, it was way off. So I pulled that strip off and got another strip here, and let's just see if we can get it a little better. And hopefully we can. Like I say, it looked terrible. So, oh, right there looks pretty good, for certain. Okay. I decided to use a new, rather than getting the heat gun back out, I got one that's got the new strip on it, the new adhesive strip, so be a little bit easier to put on. All right, let me see if I can get this lined back up again now. That's the trick, getting it lined up so that you can stick it. Whoa, that's way off. Like I say, it's tricky. All right, where's that spot? I had it a while ago. Man. It's just all over the place. That's close on the corner, but then it's off a little bit on that top edge. Let me just stick that one right there. Let me play around with another one. We may have to put another one on here. Oh yeah. That's the ticket right there. Close enough. All right. Let me get another new one. And first we'll see if we can duplicate that. I think that's about as close as we're going to get it. Like I say, it's not going to be perfect, but we could do better than I did the other night. Actually, it was last night. This is the next day. Like I say, I went to do some editing, and I said, man, that looks terrible. It's possible that I might have got this one in the wrong spot too. But with this one added, I think I can live with that. I'll probably get looking at the edit and find something wrong with it. But no, I think I can live with that. Okay. I just had to, when I seen how messed up that corner was, it didn't look like it when I'm looking at it with my eyes. Maybe it's because I got the mirror kind of cocked on an angle so that I can pick it up in the other camera so that y'all can see it. And that kind of threw me off. That, and of course, probably need new prescription eyeglasses. The ones I got I've had for quite a few years now, and I could use an update. So anyway, with that said, I think I got that part taken care of. So let's move on. Okay, let's fire the game up. I got the Namco Classics 2 board hooked up to it. And let's see what it looks like. Of course, you're still looking at it in the mirror, so that's why everything looks backwards. But, yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. So, yeah, I think we got it dialed in now. Okay, now let's see if we can tackle that width cap and go ahead and replace the width cap on this thing and see if we can't get the width moved out from both sides. Well, in this game it would be top and bottom because it's sideways, but it would be side to side on a horizontal game. So yeah, let's see what we can do with that. Okay, I got the chassis out the frame, and this is the width coil that we need to change. And let's go ahead and get it out of here. It is C365. So and there it is right there. And it is a 334K at 200, so that's, I think, 200 volts or 2,000 volts. I'm not sure. But actually that's a point, I think it's a 0.33 microfarad, I believe, something like that. And we want to replace it with, let's see, .47, that's not it, 224. .474, 104, 334. All right, that's the exact same one right there. See, it's much smaller. .74, 104, 224. That's a 224, 630. 224 at 250. 0.47. All right, I'm going to have to look up these numbers and find out what is the correct one we want to put in here. So I'll be right back. Okay, well, I did a little research, and it looks like the one that I need to put in there is a 0.15 microfarad. In this monitor with cap kit, I can only find an 104, which is a 0.1 microfarad. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and we'll try it. It may make the picture too wide. If it does, then I'll have to order a 1.5 and see if I can't narrow it down. I'm hoping it's going to go in here. Yeah, I think I can make it. I'll just spread the legs out. And bend them to fit. Let's see. Well, the way that is, one can be straight and the other one will be bent out. And it should make it. Maybe a little tight. Let me rebend it a little bit tighter. And that ought to work. It had some wires running underneath it. I wonder if it's supposed to be that way. I'm sure it was a factory cap, so what the heck, I'll put it back just like it was. And we'll give it a try and see what happens. Okay. Well, I'm going to put the chassis back in the frame, hook everything back up, and when I come back, we'll fire it up and see what happens. Okay, I got it all back together. Let's find out if changing that width cap, what kind of effect it had on it. I'm thinking it may have stretched the pitch a little too much since we couldn't get a 1.5, or we didn't have one. We just had a 0.1, but if it is, then I can always get another one. So, all right, well, let's go ahead. I got the test pattern generator hooked back up. I got it on, and let's flip the monitor on. Let's see what happens. And we're looking for the width. So we had bars on the right and left side before. Okay, looks like we got a full screen. But how much are we missing? All right, let's see. What I want to do is horizontal centering. Let's see if we can see how far we can move it to see our edge. All right, that's the edge on the left, and we can't see the edge on the right. So yeah, it stretched pretty good. Okay, let's see if we can get the vertical size all the way up. And now we got the vertical size all the way up. So we got a full screen. Now, is it going to be too much? Well, we can find out by hooking a game board up to it. Like I say, each game has a slightly different resolution. So it may be perfect for some games. It may be too wide for others. It's something that you have to sometimes match up to a particular game. Well, let's just run through the patterns and see what everything looks like. Yeah, let's see. All right. Let me see if I can bring it in All right, let's try that and see what it looks like. Trying to get the blue and the yellow color bar even on both sides. Of course, sometimes the test pattern generator here is a little off too, but that looks pretty well centered. Actually, it's looking real good. It's definitely too wide, but all right. Let me go ahead and disconnect the test pattern generator, and I'll hook our JAMA board back up, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, I've got the Namco Classic 2 board back on. Let's fire up the monitor. Let's turn on the game. I believe that's perfect. It still can be stretched a little bit more top to bottom. We have more control on that. That's the vertical size. So let's increase the vertical size here a little bit. And let's do the horizontal centering just to see if we can tweak that either way. Yeah, that's the bottom. It's definitely a little bit wide. I think if I get me a 1.5 microfarad cap, it would be perfect, but that's passable right there. Okay. Let me put the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back on there and see what it looks like now that we didn't change the width cap on that thing. So, be right back. Okay, well, I got the Turtles in Time board back on here. So let's fire the monitor back up. And let's turn the game on. And we still got that curl at the top, but it is filling the whole screen. Let's see if we can get that curl at the top. That would be horizontal hold. All right, let's bring the vertical size down.
My toes, my toes.
All right, seems like we've got a line on the vertical size on the bottom. The top is all the way at the top now. We might be able to get rid of some of that by moving the little 3-pin adjuster there. But I don't think it's all that necessary. I'm wondering about the width. I mean, it looks good. Still could be missing a little bit of the screen on the game. Let's see. Let's do the horizontal centering and go back and forth and see how much we are missing. All right, I can see the edge on the left there. And that brings the edge of the left in. Now let's continue. Yeah, it's still kind of wide. but not too bad. I could live with that, especially for a test monitor. Could do it with a little degaussing, but it's not bad. Colors are good, plenty bright, and I got a full screen now. A little bit too full, but like I say, changing the width cap to the correct value will bring that right in. I don't see a thing in the world wrong with that. So, I think we got a success. We got a successful tube swap. Don't know if I mentioned this over the course, but I paid right at $100 for that TV off of eBay. I could have got one probably a little cheaper if I waited around, and there were some that were a little cheaper. But I wanted to, make sure and get that particular model because I'm pretty sure that by seeing that partial number on the tube that I had a compatible tube. So, but I'm sure this tube you can find in many TV sets. So if you just look for 13-inch TV sets, I'm sure you can find one. Maybe somebody's throwing one away, or go to a thrift store or something like that, flea market. You might be able to pick one up kind of cheap, and might be a crapshoot, but if you don't pay much for it, then sometimes it's worth it. So, and this probably would have been a direct swap for a 13-inch K7000. I don't know what the yoke value is, but I think it's a low impedance. At least one of them are. So it may have been a complete drop-in and replacement, and you wouldn't have to even change the yoke. But as you can see, if you stick with the basics, mark everything, and put everything back just like the old one come off, you don't have to do a whole lot of adjusting. So it's not that hard a thing to do. Sure, you can go into the manual. They got instructions on how to do a complete alignment. And if you have to start from scratch and do that, it can be done. It's not hard, but I find it a lot easier to just go with the flow and give it a try and adjust it to your looks, how you like the looks of it. And hopefully if you give it a try, you'll have as good luck as I did. The only bad luck I had was the flyback, but we did also found out that the 4900 19-inch flyback will work in a 13-inch monitor. So if anybody else wants to try it, let me know how you made out. Did it work for you? Because it sure worked for me. I got the flyback from Arcade Parts and Repair. Also got the cap kit from Pete, and I'll be ordering probably that width cap to fine-tune this a little bit more. And so if you need anything, he's a great supply for many parts, not just monitor parts, but and kind of anything you want. He's got a little bit of everything. So he's kind of like the new Bob Roberts, I guess you could say. I hope you don't get mad at me for saying that, but he has quality stuff, and he does his best to try to keep the quality top-notch. And he's not paying me for an endorsement. I'm just a satisfied customer. Okay, well, with that said, until the next video, I still might make another video. I might want to try the original flyback and see if I can fix that crack in it with hot glue, just for the heck of it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a video doing that. It's probably crazy, but yeah, it wouldn't be too hard to do. And that way, I'll be able to see if it does still work. I'll be able to compare and see if there is any difference between the two, which, even if it is, this one adjusted out just fine. All right, so I'm going to end this series right here. Successful tube swap. And it's just been another arcade fix. Have you had your arcade fixed today?
My toes, my toes.